Hello, and welcome to the Gaia update for the March Equinox 2021. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, this equinox marks a major turning point energetically on multiple levels. So let's talk this through. The major event energy of this equinox is, of course, the equinox is when the sun passes over the Aries point at 0 degrees Aries, moving from the end of the Pisces, end of the zodiac in Pisces, the death cycle, the rebirth into the cosmic I am presence. Now, of course, this happens every year, but this year, Venus is moving together with the sun over into Aries. And so very powerful message here because Venus is just catching back up to the sun after that retrograde last year in Gemini. And so the feminine is trying to find her voice. Now, how powerful that the sun, the light, the force of cosmic forces, basically, representing these cosmic forces, in conjunction with Venus, the feminine, as they go over this point of rebirth. Now, this, Venus is catching back up to the sun. So it's a celebration and an exaltation of the feminine, and how powerful that leading up to this equinox, we've got that Pisces new moon that happened on the 12th, 13th, and this energy of Venus and the sun each taking their turn, squaring the nodes of the moon, and then coming into a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces, as we try to dream a new dream where the feminine and the masculine are in balance, and which is required for us to fully access our life force. Now, there's deep mysteries here in this astrology, because the sun and Venus coming together, they're going to be together for 3 weeks. And it's this in Pisces and in Aries. And so it's like this, the feminine coming back into her exalted place. Now, the energy of this conjunction, this time, all this astrology together is speaking to an awakening of the cosmic life force energy. That's what Aries represents. And so we have an energy here with Venus, our feminine, this creatrix energy, which is resonant with the concept, the goddess Shakti, the energy of Shakti in Hinduism. And this energy is an activation of the divine feminine. The feminine has been cut to pieces, demonized, set aside, persecuted, the healer and the intuitive in all of us, and sexual energy. But sexual energy is just energy. And there's been a long-term agenda to keep our sexual energy chained to the lower chakras so that we can never activate our higher centers. And so there's dark, taboo, shame energy programmed, and dark sexual distortions explicitly designed to keep us from ever feeling sacred in our sexual energy. But the Shakti energy is that's all that is, and it's the divine mother. It's the creatrix. It's what makes all. It's this powerful force, divine feminine aspect of creation energy that brings things into form. And so this creation energy, this creatrix energy, the Shakti energy is being awakened on our planet. And that's what this astrology is telling us. So it's like a Kundalini awakening, this equinox, so incredibly powerful. So I hope you can consider joining me for the Equinox Soul Group session. This is going to happen before the equinox in the morning of the 19th in Mountain Time. And the actual equinox is early in the morning on the 20th in that time zone. So right now we're already feeling, leading up to this equinox, the sun and Venus coming into this conjunction. We start feeling that on the 14th, just after that Pisces new moon. And so it's like this culmination energy, and how powerful to have Venus and the sun together going over, in a conjunction. The exact conjunction of Venus and the sun is from the 24th to the 27th. But they're close, and the Pisces, and doing this dance with conjunction of Neptune, dreaming a new dream in the feminine, putting the goddess back up on her rightful throne, purified, so that we can access this creation energy into our life and start living again. This is what this whole activation of Aries has been about this last year. Us realizing that as human beings in a body connected to our soul, that gives us direct access to this creation energy. And yet we bought into stories that we don't deserve it, or it's dangerous, or we can't handle it. It's not ours to have. We have to earn it back. Game over. That's what this astrology is saying. It's like, this is a triumphant exclamation to the universe that now this energy, this Kundalini waking, this Shakti is now available directly on the planet through you souls. And what are you going to do with it? Right? That's the key to this energy. And the whole stuck energy of supernova souls in general. It's like you got all this inside of you and nowhere to express it. And that's this initiation experience that we're going through on the planet. That's what this astrology is saying. And Venus and the sun dancing over this Aries point, where the greatest conjunction happens and happened at the time of the birth of Jesus, heralding Christ consciousness. This is the birth of female expression of Christ consciousness, the Christed feminine. And we have no idea what that looks like. Maybe it doesn't look like anything, because Shakti represents the formless. She comes into form. She's creation energy that comes into form, but ultimately she has no form. She's just all that is, that can create into form. This is this life force energy. And so that Mars retrograde that we had, this 2020 in Aries, home sign Aries, it was all about this. Like, you guys, humanity, are you going to own your power? Because if you don't, it's over. You will become robots. You will become part of this technological AI experiment. Or are you going to grab a hold of that human soul, grab a hold of that life force essence, and start to live, start to express? See, the Shakti energy, it's like once if it's just there and it doesn't have a place to create, then it kind of can make us sick, really. It's just imbalance, So the key right now for supernova souls is like finding this expression for this energy. It's like the only way you got to like get on the wave of this energy and start moving it in your life, inviting it very deliberately into your life. And what does that look like to live in that ecstatic state of Shakti, of this awareness, and that you're co-creating with this creatrix, divine feminine, mother energy, And that's kind of this mystery, I think that's underneath all of this astrology right now, that has to do with like, we want to bring the Christ consciousness back in, and the light is coming into our world, right? But it can't land without the mama, happy, balanced, restored. And this is her Phoenix moment. And what does that mean for you personally? That's kind of what we've been examining with the sun and Venus coming into this conjunction with Neptune, just leading up to this equinox. So the week before this equinox is very intense, because it's like this complete dissolving. It's almost like in order to come into the creatrix energy, we've got to release all form. Right? All those personality constructs, just letting it all go, just going in deep into the vulnerabilities, because this Aries point is this exalted Phoenix energy of stepping into the I am presence. But the end degrees of Pisces, they're like, the death process. And so we've been in a death process, right? It's like, okay, enough of the dying part. We need to get here. We're here to live, right? But it's almost like I'm seeing a picture of everything false and bullshit in your life, that you're still holding on to, that we're still holding on to, just being wrung out in this Pisces energy, this end degrees of Pisces. Very powerful activation for those with the Chiron placement there at the end of Pisces, activating your connection back to spirit and source. The deep wounds of Chiron and Pisces were about a disconnection from God and feeling like deep religious, spiritual pain. And so that's the energy that we're trying to release and come back into our rightful permission. Because if you feel that you failed God and you didn't do it right in that way, and as a spiritual being on this planet, spiritual light, and you felt like you failed God on some level, that's kind of the energy, the end degrees of Pisces, then you're never going to let yourself have the life force that is your birthright. And how powerful that Venus and the Sun dancing over this Aries point, that ringing out of all the old stories of the feminine, so that we can move into the exalted celebration of the Divine Mother. And this is in every female form, but the feminine in all of us, this beautiful fountain, coming back to the garden of this abundant free energy and that's available to us through this Shakti energy. And but that energy has been so demonized, especially the sexual component. And so this is us trying to claim this back in a purified way. There's got to be a lot of changes on this planet. Like, if we're going to live in the purified, have the Shakti awakening and be able to access this Kundalini energy, which we need to in our higher chakras to be able to create this new world, to do what we're here to do. It's just who you are. It's why you came, to activate your light body. And you can never do that if you've got sexual shame. If you've got your Kundalini energies chained to the material world and to that lower chakra sexual distortions that we've all had to work through in this, everybody on the planet, human, in the heredity, it's been so programmed. It makes me think of in the tarot deck, the original, like the Rider-Waite, the images, the lovers. And the lovers are they're standing as two pillars in this celebration of this divine union of the masculine and feminine. And then the devil card has the lovers, same picture, the lovers, but they're chained to this materialism, right? So that sexual energy is being held captive in the lower chakras. And this energy is like a wave of energy across the planet, like the serpentine goddess, purified Kundalini energy of the acupressure points, the meridians, the grand meridian of the earth is awakening. And there's like a wave, and it's like a serpentine wave, like the energy moving up the spine. And now it's interesting because the whole reason that the feminine was able to be so disgraced and cast aside and persecuted was because she was cut out of the spiritual stories. The religious control energies cut out the feminine from her rightful place in the mythology. And so what happened is these ancient feminine mysteries, which are connected to sexual energy, but as a celebration, like this Shakti energy is a celebration of creatrix life force. It's like a devotion to the feminine that like gives life, and knowing that as we reverence that and work with that, then we have abundant life. And but the feminine voice, the spiritual message of this energy was silenced. And everybody who worked with this energy, say like back at the time of when Jesus was born in biblical times, they took vows of silence. We all took vows of silence to not share these mysteries of the divine feminine. And I've been seeing pictures of we found lots of scrolls that speak to these things of the ancient mysteries, that what the Essenes and Jesus Christ consciousness was really about, accessing this energy. And so that, there's a very profound truth that what Yeshua, Jesus, was showing us he couldn't have done without being anointed by the feminine, by Mary Magdalene. And that's all just cut out of the story, right? And so that energy, as the structured religion was taking control in our world, of course they had to get rid of this direct access to creation energy message in these teachings. And everybody took vows of silence. Those scrolls got deeply buried. And I keep seeing pictures of more scrolls being uncovered soon, like right now in our world right now, being excavated, and these mysteries coming into the light, which are connected to all the lies of our history and like technology and financial control. It's all connected right back to this. And so we have to understand that inviting Shakti back into our life, it can be destructive to those old patterns, to the silencing, to the control. And, but coming back to like, okay, so this is a completion energy of that Venus retrograde in Gemini that peaked out in June last year. And Mars is now in Gemini, about to come into conjunction with the North Node. And the North Node is how are we going to get to where we're trying to go? And so Mars in Gemini with the North Node, and Mars is the warrior who's always trying to push forward. Let's go, let's do this. Come on, he's impatient, And it's like, are you going to pick yourself up, girl, and take off that frickin' mask and speak your truth again? But we need the masculine to support the feminine in that. Like, gotcha, girl. Let's see you flower in this abundant love for all. Available within the masculine and feminine, right? But maybe a little bit more directly available in the female body just by mechanical truths, right? This goddess energy is everything. And how interesting that Mars is in Gemini, speaking to the voice, the communication coming back. And this is the voice of the feminine, these deep hidden mysteries, which there's a conflict. If you've had these lifetimes, which is coming up right now a lot, I think this might be coming up in the soul group session. Soul group session is a group intuitive session looking at shared past lives. And there's this group of souls that were a part of bringing in the Christ consciousness and ushering in the Aquarian age. And it's really coming up on the table, this energy. And those cultures were based on a perfect balance of the masculine and feminine. Like a picture of a binary star system. Most solar systems are binary. They have two suns. And maybe that's the deal, is that the feminine became something dark. And then it was the duality of light and dark. But it's not that. It's a perfect orbit of balance, which manifests form. And so these deep mysteries have been highly secretive. And so we all took vows of silence. And when you go to these places, this is what's going on right now. This masking thing on an energetic, esoteric level is really about the silencing of the feminine voice, which is creatrix power. I'm not talking men against women and like women are better. Men. No, it's a balance of these forces. And this is how we get back into our heart consciousness. So we all need to balance this. And so we're all out of balance in the feminine. We got to pick her back up and start to worship the Shakti again. What does that look like? I don't know. For each of us individually, that's what we're trying to figure out with this astrology. But it feels really like living more than dying. And are you brave enough? Because a lot of energies, we'll work on this, I think, too, may come up in the soul group session of this fear. Because this Kundalini energy we're programmed to fear the sexual energy to keep it in the lower chakras. So we never come into our power, right? So we all have programmed fear around this energy going back to Atlantean time, like it's going to cause a catastrophe or something, And it only can catastrophize what is no longer serving us right now. And that's this stepping into the fire of transfiguration, of releasing our all attachment to the physical. It doesn't mean we have to let go of anything in our world. This is our ego attachment, energetic attachment, that has been keeping us playing small, keeping us hooked back into the past and the stories, replaying those trauma patterns, And this energy is like, it's time to awaken the dragon, goddess, Mother Earth, Gaia, And so it's a celebration of the Shakti energy and an invitation for all of us to take this back into our lives and start living from true life force, right? Which is now the Sun and Venus are going to pass over on the equinox to, into Aries and this rebirth. And then in the last week of March, though, they come into a conjunction with Chiron in Aries. And this is everything that's kept us from accessing the wounds of Chiron is our deepest wounds. In Aries, it's about not being able to access our life force, not being able to be who we really are, not being able to be in our full expression, playing small, cutting ourselves off, pretending that we're something else in order to stay alive and stay safe. Aries is life and death. It's like survival. And so the wounds of Chiron and Aries is like where you've had to play a game, be something else than who you are, be what everybody else wants you, fit in, turn your light down in order to survive. Or maybe you got killed for your light, And so we all have. And so the Sun and Venus with Chiron is like, are you going to take back your life force? Like, is it yours to have? Here it is. It's like a silver platter right in front of you. Are you going to start living again? And maybe that goes back to this February astrology of all this Black Moon Lilith and Taurus. And do you deserve it? Are you good enough? And it's like clearing all that shame programming so that we can have this experience of awakening and the Shakti of Divine Mother, Creatrix energy on our planet. And so very powerful. The last week of March is going out like a lion. It's really powerful astrology because we've got that Sun, Venus, Chiron in Aries. Like, I'm not going to take it anymore, right? Like breaking out of the prison. And because Aries wants freedom and life force to do it, to really do it their way. And then Mars, North Node. In order to move forward, we've got to be warriors around taking back our voice, speaking the truth of the goddess, which is, hey, you guys, let's do this right. Let's take care of our planet. Let's take care of each other. Let's frickin' do it right. Kick this evil pedo shit off of our planet. Satanic shit. It can't be here anymore. No more. We are coming home as light beings. This is definitely a landing home time for the supernova soul, coming into your body in this part of you that you didn't even know was you, right? This bigger part of you that's like been waiting in the wings for you to get this garbage out of the way, resonates definitely with this activation. Mercury will be moving into Pisces before this equinox. So Mercury and Pisces will be coming up will be squaring Mars. We'll start feeling that. And that's really powerful because Mars is like, come on, let's go, get your voice. And Mercury, now having its turn with Neptune and square the nodes, it's like, yeah, but then I remember I got persecuted for that before, and aren't they coming for me now? And I can't really access this energy because my voice is associated with this Shakti, and I'm scared of it, and I'm scared of my power. And, this is what's everything that's going on as we sort out how we move out of the Piscean age and into the Aquarian age. And then Mercury will also come into a conjunction with Neptune, completing this Pisces energy. Now, when Mercury moves over into Aries the first week of April, Easter, I think it's like maybe Easter's just a couple of days before, right around Easter, maybe the day after, that Mercury moves it over into Aries. And then we have a completion of the Pisces energy for this year, kind of the big Pisces bloom. Then we're moving into the rebirth. So Easter is so epically powerful rebirth this year. And this equinox is paving the way for that, activating that Shakti energy and saying, do you want it? Can you handle it? What choice do you have, really? We're running out of options and moves, and we have to live or succumb to the matrix. Live and create a new world, be alive, celebrate humanity, or give over our soul to that, be recycled in that other timeline, and you don't have a choice, Supernova Soul, because you've already decided it's the only reason you're here. And this is a lot of the energy of this Equinox soul group session. There's definitely that. Like, what is the whole point of why you're here? What are you doing here? Were you a part of this project? Are you a part of this project? Did you know you were even a part of this project? Because it's time to get to frickin' work on a totally new level in the creation energy. So really dynamic time. Venus and the Sun are conjunct exact from the 24th to the 27th, coming together exact just after the equinox. And that's going to be, it's almost like the equinox has this energy of that bell, the vibrational activation. And then the wave will continue through that week, and such dynamic. The last week of March, who knows what can happen because it's so dynamic. And but the Sun and Venus are together from 3 degrees to 6 degrees. Aries. Chiron's at 8. So it's like they're together, but just before, and then one by one, they'll hit Chiron. And so 3 degrees, 3 is an energy of let's take two things and bring them together and make something more, a product, right? And that you can take the parts, something is more than the parts, right? It's co-creation. And creating a product, like getting to work on creating this new world, right? And then 6 is 2 3s. That's co-creation with more people, more energy, more groups, but still creating a different paradigm, a product, a different product, more than the parts. More is more. It's win-win. This is the new paradigm of abundance and free energy, and you represent that right here, right now, as you say yes to stepping back into this Shakti creatrix vibration right here embodied on this planet. So exciting times lie ahead. It's also we're getting wrung out and excruciatingly dissolved. So just stay with it, keep breathing, keep connecting with your soul group. We'll see you on the astral plane. We'll see you hopefully for the soul group session. And I look forward to celebrating with you there or on the next update. Happy March equinox and so much love to you, Supernova Souls. So until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.